Yo guys, hope everybody is doing good, is doing great. Welcome back to the Deriv cheat code. This is going to be the part two. If you haven't watched part one yet, then I would highly recommend you go watch that because then all of what we're going to discuss in this video is going to make sense. Okay. So in the last video, we discussed how these counters work, how these increment, how these reset. And in today's video, we're going to be focusing on how you can automate your strategies based off of these counters. All right. So first things first, let's quickly just move over here, select the volatility 50 index pair, because that's what we're going to be doing this example for. We're going to be doing it for over under. So head over back to your tool, execution mode, head over to self rules, then head over to the self rules tab. And this is where the magic is going to happen, where you have the complete freedom customization in order for you to create your rules based off of the market flow of data and how it's interpreted over here on our counters. Okay, so once that's selected, let's just quickly connect this so I can show you that we can create rules on the fly, literally. So once that's connected, you can clearly see the balance is loaded up. It's telling up to be exactly the same. Heading over to the self rules tab, let's create a rule in which we want the bot to trade when the first and second counter, where rather all of them, okay, all of these pair counters have reached a value of 3 or greater than 3. So I'm just going to head over to self rules, click on bulk create rules, and you can see we've mapped all of these, you can say, counters into different groups, so you can select them with ease. So I'm just going to select these ones. The operator which I'm going to select is greater than or equals to. That means if any of these counters value is going to be equals to or greater than the particular value which I set in, it is going to execute the trades. So I'm going to put 3 over here, and over down below, you can see the input field that says that set trade size is 2. So when the first time my condition is going to be met, for example, for this one, the first and second goes to 3. The first two trades, of course, because these are pair counters, the trades are going to be executed in pairs. So when the current streak hits 1, it's going to use this trade size. When it hits 2, it's going to execute the 0.59 trade size. And if the current streak goes to 3, then of course it's not going to trade. It's going to wait for the current streak to reset. This counter is going to increment by 1. And because the condition is still true, its value is going to become 4. Then the next time the current streak becomes 1, it is going to execute with this trade. And if it goes to 2, it is going to execute with this trade. So we're just going to quickly create this rule for the pair counter. So I'm just going to click on create rules for selected counters. Bam. All the rules have been created. Just like that. Super simple, super easy. Now what we are going to do is that I'm also going to show you the difference between using these operators. Okay. So first of all, I created these first few set of rules just to show you how quickly and easily it is. And now I'm going to explain to you what different things you see over here at the self rules tab, how these are and how these work. So over here at the section 1, it says define single rule target. So you have the ability to select whatever counter you want to have your strategy automated for. Like if you wanted to select them individually, you would have been able to create all of these rules individually. So like if I wanted to create the same rule, I would just click this, first and second, greater than equals to, and I'll just put 3. Okay. And trade size sequence is already written. Rather, a trade is going to be executed now. If we talk about the previous rules we created, so I just want to show you that first. So like it's third and fourth is greater than or equals to 3, and you can see it executed the first trade, and that first trade won. Okay, the counter is reset. Now the bot won't trade over here because our conditions have been wiped clean. So until they get armed again, those conditions appear on the Huzy Trade Assistant again, only then will the bot start trading. Okay, so showing you how it's done live. So as we were saying, that how these work, like you got to select any of the counter you want. Okay, give it a value, assign it a value, assign it an operator. I would suggest either sticking with this greater than equals to, either this if you want to put a hard cap at it, like I don't want to go above this particular range, or you can just trade the equals to. So these three, usually you would just be needing this one and the equals to, greater than equal to, and equals to. So once that's done, put in the value, put in the trade size sequence, and if you want something like this, that if the first and second counter reaches a value of 3 and greater, if you wanted to trade somewhere else, like for instance, if this value goes to 3, I want the trade to be executed at 5th and 6th. So I would just go over here, click on the override execution streaks, just write this, click on save rule. Now, every time when this condition is going to occur, if the current streak goes to 5 or 6, it's going to execute the trade over there. Okay, so that's how this particular override execution streaks input field is going to work. Now, the inverse loss threshold, this is something which I'll cover in my other video, in which I'm specifically going to be talking about how to create rules with rise and fall. This last input field, this is also for the rise and fall method. So do not be concerned about these. The only thing in order for you to create rules is to understand how these three particular fields work. Okay. And you have the ability to create rules. You have the ability to export them to your hard drive. And whenever you are planning on doing your trading session, whenever you've tested them out, you can just click on the load rules button and it's going to load them up. So I'm just going to make the screen a little big so like you guys can see everything clearly. So load is going to enable you to load them up for future sessions. Export is going to enable you to export them for future sessions. So now heading over to the life cycle monitor, it is clearly showing that the trades are armed right now. Okay, the self rule 2 and self rule 3, these two have their conditions met. So pretty much it's gonna execute a trade. As you can see, it executed the trade on third and fourth, and then on the fifth one. For the third and fourth, it lost. That's why you see the balance going down, but it's going to, what you're going to observe is that the first two trades lost. The next two trades is going to open is going to be with a higher trade size. Like see, this one, 1.01, 1.71, and you can see that trade won. So right now we've made $1.09. So definitely you can after observing the market, how these counters interact, how you want to play this game, how you want to interpret this data, you can switch up your trade sizes. Because remember, we don't want to be in the market for too long. We gotta be quick in, quick out. Call it a day. The more time you spend in this market, the more likely you are to make a loss. So remember, keep that thing in your mind when you're trading with the Huzy Trade Assistant or in Deriv in general, like in trading in general, basically. So self rules, as you saw that when it says the lifecycle monitor status active armed rules, that means rules are armed. Okay, it's going to show you the names as well. And now coming over to the ghost cycle settings, the enable trade skipper, like how this works is that whenever you create a rule over here, okay, whenever a rule is created and this enable trade skipper is on, and you just, for example, put the value 1 in here. Now, what it's going to do is that the first time any of these rules get armed and they are supposed to execute the trades, but the thing is, they will not execute the trades. They will just quietly watch and observe whether if we would have executed on that particular counter, on that particular rule, would we have won that trade? If the answer is yes, then it is again going to wait for the that particular rule to lose. Because remember, what you're setting over here is simulated losses before the live trades. So if any of these rules lose one time, because I've put the value 1 over here, then the next time it starts executing the trades, it is going to execute with real balances. So pretty much you're leveraging the simulated losses to better improve your probabilities of winning and reducing your trade size sequences. Basically, for example, if I would have put the 1 over here, okay, the trade skipper was on, then remember the first trade that happened at third and fourth, it lost. Technically, if we had those settings on, that trade wouldn't have even been counted. Okay. The bot would have entered when its value would have reached 4, and then it would have started trading. So essentially, it just waits for the particular rule to lose X amount of times and then starts entering with the start of your trade side sequence, which you have put in. Like for me, I put in this sequence 0.35, 0.59, 1.01, 1.71, 2.91, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these two, like if you would have these settings off, you can see that my drawdown went up till here to 1.71, right? So if my starting point was this, I would have been able to hold more positions should anything go wrong later on down the road. Okay, I would have more flexibility. So that's one way to look at it. The only thing you're going to be compromising through this approach is going to be the trade frequency. So you would be needed to spend a little bit more time into the market. So that's it. That this is how the ghost cycle settings work, and this is how you create certain rules. So let's create more rules. Okay, like the first and second, the first triplet counter, we're gonna create a rule for this based off of its average. We're gonna go over here. Let me just quickly create the bulk rules. So I select this. I'm gonna put this value for 1. This is an example, by the way. Okay, you're supposed to see what are the averages, what are the maximums, and judge accordingly, place the values accordingly. So I'm just gonna click on create rule. Now the rules for these 3 have been created. Currently, right now, it's firing for. Okay, what is it firing for? Rule number 6. So what is rule number 6? The first, second, third, the one that I just created right now, it's firing the trades for that. And you can see 3 and it won. All right. And it's gonna execute the trades for this as well. So 1, 2, and this trade lost, and you're gonna see it advance the trade side sequence. So again, it's gonna hit 1. It executed with 1.01, 1.71. The trade won, and we're all good. So that's how this is going to be working. Currently, you can see that the balance right now is 10,000.98. The balance went down a little bit because probably because this rule executed a trade and they ended up in a loss. So that's why we're just waiting for this to execute the trades for this particular rule. So everything goes back to normal. So when you have so many rules created, then it is perfectly normal for you to see the balance going down because all of these rules are going to be following their own particular trade size sequences. So sometimes your balance might go down, but just give it some time and you can view from the self rules tab, like what rules are on what trade size sequences. It's going to let you know. So you have the ability to see and stop, if you would like, any of the rules from advancing to a trade size sequence which you don't feel comfortable with. So for instance, if I wanted, like this one went to 4.95, okay? It went up till our this position. This is like one, two, three, four, five, six. It opened six positions because of course, first time it failed, opened three, next time it opened three, and on the third one, it won. So if you want to disable any of these rules, like currently right now, you can see it opened the trade and it won technically. So you see our balance is going up. We've made $3 so far. So another important thing is that remember, try to go at it by making small goals. Like make $5, call it. Make $5, then again, stop trading. The more time you spend in the market, because I'm gonna emphasize on it, the more probabilities of you messing up are gonna increase. Okay? So just spend some time over here on a demo account, create some rules for yourself that seem to work, and backtest them for a couple of while, for 2, 3 days, or even a week, or as long as you want. Okay, as long as you're comfortable. And once you do feel comfortable, you can just load them up, fire them up, and it is going to trade the same exact way it is trading right now in front of your screen. Okay, so another thing which I wanted to showcase over here was the HuzyBot strategies. Okay, you can load these pre-made rules if you want to. Like there are 4 at the moment. I am gonna be adding more, but what I want for you guys is to be able to learn how to use the tool and create rules on your own. That would be the best approach. Now, why I say that is because if I created certain strategy packs or if I created certain bots, they were created with certain intentions in mind, with certain variables in mind. Like for me, I would define my low risk as that I'm comfortable with losing X amount of money. Okay. I want to risk X amount of money to make Y amount of gains. So, and I am comfortable with pretty much everything. So you have to, this is going to be variable for everybody. Some people are going to have different variables, some people are going to have different. So it is best that you learn how to use this tool and create strategies and rules for yourself so that you are able to have full knowledge, full idea of what's happening and how it works. Like currently you can see, again, we won. Pretty much we're gonna be up $4. So the next 2 trades opened, all good. We're looking good, 4.59. Awesome. So yeah, guys, I guess this is pretty much it. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section down below. If you want to use the tool, the good news is it is free for the next 30 days, or pretty much whenever you sign up, it's going to be free for you for the next 30 days. So you get a complete understanding. You get the complete sandbox environment where you have the freedom to create your rules with ease. Okay. All the other bot platforms, like if you head over to the dbot, when I first started with that, it was very confusing. And secondly, it doesn't give you the customizations and the speed of executions like which you're getting right now over here. Okay. So pretty much that's the whole point why I created this tool in the first place. Like I use it for my trading. It's made me a lot of money. And definitely, if someone knows how to use it, it's gonna help them make a lot of money as well. Currently, you can see another trade opened up, one, it went to the, what is it called? 8.41 stake. It opened up for this one. So you have to understand like what are the counter values which they go up to, like the maxes, and then assess like if its value goes till that point. If I've put 3 over here and it went till 5, then for instance, this trade size would have failed. Okay, this failed, this failed, and on fifth one, this was the trade size sequence that should have executed. So it would have opened the size of 2.91 and 4.95. Okay. So you need to keep that thing into your mind as well, that you can increase the values accordingly to reduce your risk. The higher the counter value, the lesser the risk it's going to be for you. So keep that in mind. And secondly, I also forgot to mention, you got to be creative with it. Like you have so much things you can do with this tool, and how to create rules with them. So when you use the equals operator, something unique happens. Okay, like when the equal operator is set to 3, then every time this particular counter will reach a value of 3, it is going to execute the first two trades. Okay. Then if its value goes to 4, if those trades fail, then it is not going to execute the next two trades. It is going to wait for this particular condition to occur again. And only if it does, then it will remember that it lost over here, and it is going to increment its trade sizes. Okay, it's going to move up the sequence. And if in any situation it won, it is going to reset the trade sequence back to the first trade size. Okay, so that is how the equal operator is going to work. But as a beginner, I would just suggest sticking with this one, greater than and equals to. It's pretty easy. Even this is easy, but just stick with this one, play around with it, and see if you can figure out something insane and create something extremely profitable for yourself. Like currently, seeing right now, 6.42 bucks made while I am demonstrating how to use this tool. All right. So just gonna be doing a little bit of recap. Recap is that make sure the execution mode is selected as self rules. The pair is selected as volatility 50 index. You can select other pairs as well, but I would personally just suggest using the volatility 50. And the mode over here, you can select under 4, over 5, under 3, under 2, over 4, even odd, or whatever modes are present over here. You can use them. I personally use under 4 and over 5 because the odds are fairly better and the payout is considerably better as well. And paste in your API key, click on the connect button, or if you want to create the rules first, just hold on to clicking on the connect button, head over here, self rules, and just create your rules over here. Okay. So if you want to select multiple counters, then it is advisable just click on bulk create rules. So like you can create rules faster. But if you want like full customization, like this particular, like even though they're all following the same you can say predictive value of the counter, you can customize, you can create them separately and give them unique trade size sequences. Like you want this one to trade with higher stake size, this one to trade with lower stake sizes. So this is something which you can do by creating the rules individually. And select the counter. Okay, choose the operator, place the value, define your trade size sequence, make sure it's separated by a comma. And if you want to get creative, if you want this particular counter value to be reached and you want trades to execute somewhere else, just write the current streak values. Like I want to execute at 3 and 4, separate by a comma, and just click on save rule. And that is pretty much it. You're all set. You're all good. Your rules are going to show up over here. They're going to show you the stats, like what is going to be the next trade size in the sequence, which is going to open up. What is the max stake size which has opened up? So like during your back testing, you can create the rules which seem to be misbehaving. Okay. Like this one, I believe it would have won. Yeah, it won. But we ended up in a zombie connection. So that is pretty much okay. So telling you about how this zombie connection works. Okay, I'm also going to highlight this because it has appeared on our screen. Now, most of the times, everything is going to be running smoothly, but sometimes an issue occurs on the Deriv's server side of things, that the connection gets cut off. Okay, but our tool is smart enough to remember that when the connection got cut off, where was it on its trade size sequence, and what size was remaining, and it's just gonna pretty much carry on where it left off. So you don't gotta worry about your internet going out or anything like that. It is going to remember. It is not going to forget. So that's a good thing about this trading tool as well. So I guess that pretty much covers everything that needed to be covered. And yeah, I'll see you in part three. Let's see what we cover in that. Probably I'm going to talk about the rise and fall, like how you can automate your strategies on the basis of rise and fall. That is also an interesting way of doing so. But with that being said, I think I am just gonna conclude this video right now. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned. Bye bye.